This is Sprues and Studs, and welcome back, everybody. Apparently, I have become your professional Warhammer action figure reviewer as of late on this channel. So, it might be a little bit different from what you're normally seeing, which is LEGO content. However, you already know that both LEGO and Warhammer are very, very near and dear to my heart. So, without further ado, let's talk about what we are going to be reviewing today. So one of the things I like to do is to compare and contrast action figures that are made by one company versus the other. So in this one, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing this particular Primaris Reiver in Phobos armor that was made by McFarlane, and then we're going to see how it compares to this one that was made by JoyToy that you saw my review not too long ago. So I'm interested to see exactly what are the differences, the strengths of the JoyToy one versus McFarlane. What's JoyToy lacking? What's McFarlane do better than JoyToy? And we are going to answer those questions in this video. So without further ado, let's jump into the unboxing. So without further ado, let's get to the unboxing of the McFarlane model. Looks like it is strapped down by a bunch of cords and stuff that we're going to have to get rid of and chop. So let's open up this bad boy and see what we got over here. He is strapped down by a bunch of cables and stuff. So I'm going to carefully take my knife and slice those cables off. Alright folks, here is the McFarlane figure. It is a very sizable figure compared to the JoyToy one. And let's see what we got here. Let's do a close-up of the helmeted face that is characteristic of all Reivers, and apparently there's not a lot of shading involved over here, although I'm very surprised that there is actually shading with the lenses, with the black around the red, although the red kind of bleeds into black, or vice versa, however you call it. Looks like there's some sort of oil that's on this figure as well. Not too sure why. However, moving on, you have the characteristic, I believe these are frag grenades. You can correct me if I'm wrong, YouTube. Yeah, this got a lot of oil on this thing. I'm not exactly sure if it was from the manufacturing process or something. But as you can tell here, there is zero shading and zero highlighting that is involved with this action figure. It is very flat and I guess very plain looking. Compared to the rest of the JoyToy figures. There are no highlights within the armor pieces. However, I would have to say that it still is a very good representation of a Primaris Reiver. I'm not sure if this portion is supposed to be here, because you know sometimes with Space Marines those pauldrons can be damaged in, I guess, real life, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know if this is supposed to be here because these things are supposed to look pristine in my opinion. Looks like there's another ding or a nick over here. Again, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be purposely done. So with regards to the accuracy, it is very highly accurate. You do see the Reivers carry these extra 2 packs on each side of their legs. And then they have an extra pack on the back over here. And I would have to say, well, here's another. I'm not sure if, again, this is a manufacturing defect. If you can see this line that's going across the knee pad here, which is, again, a little bit disappointing to me. This is interesting. I don't remember the other JoyToy models that I had, which are the Blood Angels Hellblaster as well as the Lieutenant. If they actually have this ability, I believe if you put this action figure down, you can actually lean it forward with this and have a little more stability or something. I have absolutely no idea. So in terms of range of motion, it does have a certain range of motion, as you see me kind of twirl this thing around like an acrobat. I'm not sure if the Space Marine is supposed to do that. It has a full range of motion with its arms over here, and I'm sure it has a full range. So with the hands, you can spin it full range as well. But I believe that well, it would be weird if you had elbow joints that had full range of motion. However, it clicks and it locks in place the elbows, so you can actually hold a pose, which is nice. Although I would say that the joints feel a little bit stiff. Maybe it's purposely done that way so that, again, it can actually hold a pose. But what can I say? This is a very, very accurate representation of a Phobos Primaris Reiver. The only thing that I'll have to say that disappoints me is, again, as you all know, McFarlane's action figures are fairly flat looking and don't have a lot of pop or dynamic with it. One of the cool things that I like about this action figure is that it actually comes with a grab chute. This is a very, very key backpack or item that only the Reivers have, and it kind of defines the Reivers. They deep strike and are able to terrorize enemies on the board, and you need to have that grab chute to do it. So kudos to McFarlane for designing a grab chute on this, and I kind of wish JoyToy did. So anyways, you would attach the grab chute there very easily, and it looks very accurate. I like this a lot. And then, moving on to the bolt carbine. The bolt carbine, just like the rest of the Space Marine, looks fairly flat and fairly non-impressive. I'm not sure if this is a defect in manufacturing or there's something wrong with the coloring here, but I believe this is supposed to be a gunmetal color. This is probably fairly unnatural to have, so I would probably think it's a painting defect. And you actually see a lot of mold lines over here. It's very, very rough and coarse, and you can feel it. It's just like having mold lines in a GW model. You would probably have to remove that with a razor blade or something like that. I would have to say this mold line is a bit pronounced, which kind of detracts from the overall aesthetic of the bolt carbine. However, again, very accurate representation. So I'm going to put the JoyToy one next to its larger sibling. We can compare and contrast the difference between both of these Marines. One of the things that I actually forgot to let you know on a prior video of this, when I was reviewing the JoyToy models, is that this combat knife, you can actually pull it out from the back. I had absolutely no idea that was the case. You could pull out from here. I thought it was just like a static weapon that you could leave it as a prop or something, but apparently it's fully functional and, again, very detailed. Has some sort of dry brushing as well as some highlighting that's going on, which I think is really cool. So anyways, as you can see here, the side by side, the JoyToy action figure, I believe, has a lot more detail to it. You can see a lot of the shading going on, especially with the grooves in the skull over here. And there's also shading that you can see with the grenade that is fairly lacking on the McFarlane one. It looks pretty flat, and the side pockets, or whatever you want to call it, is very accurate to the Phobos Armored Marines. You have the grenade over here that is more detailed on the JoyToy model versus the McFarlane. And you also get the combat knife, which that McFarlane should have at least put it in, because a lot of the pictures that you see in promos of these Reivers, they have their combat knife. So one thing that is superior about McFarlane over the JoyToy model is, as I said, these grab chutes. I don't understand why JoyToy did not adopt the same manufacturing technique, because it seems like all you have to do is just take this vent out and attach like a grab chute, so you could have like a separate piece to attach. So this is one thing that the JoyToy model is inferior, in my opinion, compared to the McFarlane. Side by side with the bolt carbines, the bolt carbine JoyToy is on the right, and then McFarlane's on the left, obviously, because it's bigger. There is still some mold lines over here, but it is more pronounced on the McFarlane one. And the bolt carbine is actually more detailed with the JoyToy one as well. And again, JoyToy does it better because they actually have a knife on here. In terms of which ones I like better, I'm obviously very biased to JoyToy stuff. They actually make very, very good products. They do cost a heck of a lot more and are a lot less accessible than McFarlane. So you can actually go to America's largest online retail store and get this fairly quickly to your door in about 2 days, and then this costs only $20. This guy, on the other hand, is about $33, and it seems like you have a lot less model. And in fact, you do have a lot less model, because the JoyToy one is about half as tall as the McFarlane one. Is the $13 difference worth it? That's something that you all are going to have to figure out yourself, whether that's actually worth it or not. In my opinion, again, I like the JoyToy models because the range of motion is a lot more fluid and it doesn't feel as stiff as the McFarlane ones. I really like the level of detail as well as the accuracy on the JoyToy as well, because you see here on the JoyToy there is a heck of a lot more shading that's going on. Although I do find the JoyToy one a little bit more dull compared to the McFarlane, considering that the McFarlane one is bright blue and this is a very dull blue. And I think that the color that is true to most Ultramarines is this one. They're known for their brilliant blue armor and not so much this dull one. So the color is a bit off on this. This is Sprues and Studs, and I hope that you enjoyed this review of the McFarlane Primaris Reiver and then the side-by-side comparison between the McFarlane versus the JoyToy one. So stay tuned for more unboxing and review videos with these action figures, especially the JoyToy ones. And I will see you all in the next one.